There's the damn jackers that ripped me to shreds standing right there.
Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. Today we're so happy to bring you the storyline of a sci-fi and action movie from 2019 titled Alita, Battle Angel. The movie tells us about a half-human, half-robot or cyborg discovered by a scientist and was named Alita. After being repaired, Alita realizes she can't remember anything about her past life. How do you think Alita's adventure in her new life unfolds? Let's not waste any more time, grab your favorite snacks, get comfortable, and let's watch the video. In the year 2563, precisely 300 years after Earth was devastated by a catastrophic war known as the Fall, a scientist named Dr. Ito discovered a female cyborg without a body, but with a human brain while scavenging for parts in a garbage dump. At that time, the world was divided into two parts, the city above the sky known as Dalam, and the ordinary city below it called Iron City. It can be seen that life on Earth at that time had advanced so much that it was not uncommon to see individuals with half-robotic appearances. Returning to Dr. Ito, he brought the cyborg to his private laboratory and attempted to repair her. With the assistance of his assistant, Gerhard, Dr. Ito combined the cyborg's head with the robotic body of his late daughter. Unexpectedly, the fusion turned out to be successful, and the cyborg came back to life. She woke up and was astonished by her new body. Unfortunately, she had no recollection of her past, not even her own name. The cyborg then descended to the lower city to meet the kind-hearted people who had saved her. Dr. Ito introduced himself and conducted some tests on the cyborg's body, including sensory perception, to ensure that her body was fully connected. Afterward, Dr. Ito took the cyborg on a tour around Iron City. Since the cyborg didn't have a name yet, Dr. Ito decided to give her the same name as his late daughter, Alita. While exploring, Alita accidentally witnessed a motorball match, a racing competition played by cyborgs. In this competition, the winner was promised the chance to move to the city of Zalem. In Iron City, there were rumors circulating about massacres committed by both humans and cyborgs. Humans desired cyborg bodies, and similarly, cyborgs coveted human parts. Their body organs would be sold in the black market for a significant profit. This deeply concerned Dr. Ito, so he warned Alita not to leave the house, especially at night. When Alita ventured out for a walk, she was suddenly stopped by a woman named Dr. Charon. Dr. Charon turned out to be Dr. Ito's former wife. She was shocked to see that the body of their late daughter was now being used by Alita. Some background information. Dr. Ito and Dr. Charon were originally from Zalem, but they were eventually expelled because of their daughter's paralysis. The inhabitants of Zalem had a distinctive feature, a purple chip implanted in their foreheads. Charon still had the chip on her forehead, whereas Ito claimed to have removed his. During their meeting, Charon invited Ito to work together in creating the best cyborg, who would be sent to compete in motorball matches. Charon mentioned that they would be sponsored directly by the organizer's leader, Vector. Upon hearing this, Ito immediately refused because he had no desire to return to Zalem. High connections. I won't help you build monsters. Disappointed, Charon eventually left as she was already awaited by Vector. At the same time, Alita coincidentally met Hugo, who was training in motorball with his friends. Seeing Alita's interest, Hugo invited her to try motorball training. In the match, one of Hugo's friends, Tanji, was taking the training very seriously, to the point where he didn't care that Alita was a beginner. Nevertheless, Alita didn't give up and retaliated against Tanji in the second round. From the 2 rounds they played, Hugo could see the potential that Alita possessed. He was even confident that with a little more training, Alita could become a professional motorball player. Since then, Alita and Hugo have become closer. They'd often spend time together, walking around the city. Hugo even took Alita to his favorite hangout spot and told her how much he desired to ascend to Zalem. Later, Hugo also revealed that Alita originally came from Zalem. This was indicated by her discovery in the scrapyard, which was a dumping ground for waste from Zalem. Listen. Stuff from the factory, pulling up to Zalem. On that night, Alita unintentionally witnessed Dr. Ito sneaking out of the house with a suitcase. Seeing Ito's suspicious behavior, Alita quietly followed him. During that moment, Alita witnessed Dr. Ito preparing to kill a woman. Before the murder could happen, Alita immediately stopped Dr. Ito. Unbeknownst to them, they were both trapped by a group of cyborg assassins led by a giant cyborg named Gruishka. Dr. Ito then used his weapon to fight against them, instructing Alita to hide. In the midst of the battle, Dr. Ito got injured, so he told Alita to save herself. Instead of leaving, Alita bravely confronted the cyborgs. Instinctively, she displayed incredible martial arts skills. With ease, she managed to kill 2 cyborgs and defeat Gruishka as well. However, during the battle, Alita briefly remembered her past, where she was fighting on the moon and had a codename, 99. Gruishka, who was wounded, chose to flee and promised to return to kill Alita. Afterward, Dr. Ito took Alita to the factory that produced the tubes leading to the city of Zalem. Surprisingly, Dr. Ito turned out to be a bounty hunter tasked with eliminating criminal elements. The bodies of the criminals were taken to the factory in exchange for money. Alita then pressed Dr. Ito to tell her who he really was. Dr. Ito explained that he used to be a technician in the motorball games. During that time, one of his patients went berserk and demanded immediate repairs. However, because Dr. Ito was too late, the patient killed Alita, his daughter, and took her body parts. This tragedy led to Dr. Ito's divorce from Dr. Charon, and he now lived a life as a bounty hunter, seeking to eliminate all criminals. Afterward, Dr. Ito proceeded to share some things he knew about Alita. From his observations, it seemed that Alita had been created 300 years ago, with a very strong heart. On the other hand, Gruishka arrived to meet Dr. Charon and Vector with his severed hand. Dr. Charon then took Gruishka to the laboratory for immediate repair. Surprisingly, Vector turned out to be the mastermind behind all the killings in Iron City, and he employed cyborgs and humans to hunt each other. Gruishka, a little cyborg girl. Though the impact points are evidence of extraordinary power. During the repair process, Gruishka and Vector were briefly possessed by someone from Zalem named Nova. Nova then ordered them to capture and kill Alita. At the same time, Hugo invited Alita to watch a motorball match live. They then wandered around the arena and spotted Dr. Charon and Vector. At that moment, Dr. Charon and Vector were observing the motorball match's winner, Kinuba. With the weapons he possessed, Dr. Charon and Vector agreed to use Kinuba's body to repair Gruishka. After the match, Kinuba was immediately captured by Vector's henchmen, and his body was dismembered. You can't do this to me! Hey. You stray pass! What was extremely surprising was that Vector's henchmen turned out to be Hugo and his friends. Hugo had been working as a cyborg bounty hunter to earn money from Vector. Vector promised Hugo that if he could make a lot of money, Vector would take Hugo to the city of Zalem. The next day, Hugo and his friends took Alita on a journey outside of Iron City. They entered a forest and discovered a United Republics of Mars or URM spacecraft. 300 years ago, the URM spacecraft had attacked Zalem but failed and crashed into a river. Alita then daringly entered the spacecraft and found something astonishing. Unexpectedly, the spacecraft responded to Alita's presence, as if she were part of it. Afterward, Alita found a cyborg body within the spacecraft and brought it out. Upon returning home, Alita handed the cyborg body over to Dr. Ito and asked him to attach it to her. Dr. Ito explained that the body belonged to a berserker, a humanoid weapon created by the URM. Alita's heart appeared to respond to the interaction with that body, where she also possessed an ancient martial art technique called Panzerkunst. With all these explanations, Dr. Ito concluded that Alita was not an ordinary cyborg, but the most powerful cyborg ever created. Realizing that this might be dangerous for Alita, Dr. Ito refused her request to merge her body with the berserker body she had found. Upon hearing this, Alita became angry and went to the tube factory. There she registered as a bounty hunter. After officially registering, Alita and Hugo went to the gathering place for bounty hunters. There, Alita asked for the assistance of the bounty hunters to defeat Gruishka. A bounty hunter named Zapan ridiculed Alita's request, as they were all there to capture a fugitive. Not willing to give up, Alita challenged all the bounty hunters. She declared that if she could defeat them, they would have to agree to help her. In front of everyone, Alita embarrassed Japan by defeating him easily. Afterward, the battle between Alita and the bounty hunters began. One by one, the bounty hunters were defeated by Alita. Hugo, who was there, couldn't stand by and joined in to assist Alita. In the midst of the battle, Dr. Ito arrived and stopped them all. Shortly thereafter, Gruishka appeared with his new body. In front of everyone, Gruishka killed a dog that had been saved by Alita at the beginning of the film. Gruishka then challenged Alita to a duel in the underground world. Without any weapons, Alita had to face Gruishka, who had grown even stronger. After an intense battle, Gruishka revealed that he was sent by his master, Nova, to kill Alita. Gruishka's words triggered Alita's memories of her past, revealing that Nova was her true enemy. With only one remaining hand, Alita managed to turn the tables and gouged out Gruishka's eye. Following this, Dr. Ito, Hugo, and a dog-loving bounty hunter came to Alita's aid. This cornered Gruishka, prompting him to flee. Alita's condition forced Dr. Ito to merge her body with the berserker body. Surprisingly, the bodies merged seamlessly, giving Alita a much stronger physique. With her new body, Alita decided to participate in the motorball competition. Accompanied by Dr. Ito and his assistant, Alita appeared eager to start the match. Before the match began, Alita wrote the number 99 on her arm, as it might be her code name from her past. Elsewhere, Vector met with other motorball participants who were actually bounty hunters he hired. Vector didn't care about the match's outcome. What mattered to him was that they all had to kill Alita. 500,000 to the one who kills. A girl called Alita. At the same time, Alita contacted Hugo and informed him that the match was about to start. Hugo said he would come after he finished his business. It turns out Hugo went to meet Tanji and expressed his desire to quit being a cyborg bounty hunter. This angered Tanji, who felt that Hugo had changed since he met Alita. That's when Zapan suddenly arrived, seeking to avenge Alita's actions by killing Hugo. Tanji, who witnessed the situation, tried to save Hugo but was killed by Zapan instead. This opportunity allowed Hugo to escape. Back at the arena, Dr. Ito, who was watching from a distance, realized that the players were bounty hunters. He immediately warned Alita to be cautious because all the players wanted to kill her. Thanks to Dr. Ito's warning, Alita was able to anticipate each attack from the players. One by one, the players were easily defeated. They no longer cared about the course of the match. Their sole focus was on attacking Alita. During the match, Hugo contacted Alita and asked for her help. Upon hearing this, Alita decided to leave the arena and go after Hugo. During her journey, Alita continued to face attacks from the pursuing bounty hunters. Fortunately, with her newfound strength, Alita managed to kill them all. Just as Zapan was about to kill Hugo, Alita arrived and saved him. Zapan, unwilling to accept defeat, then revealed Hugo's identity as a cyborg bounty hunter. This meant that Hugo was a fugitive for the bounty hunters. Without hesitation, Zapan stabbed Hugo with his sword. Alita, witnessing this, immediately took Hugo inside an old building. There, Hugo confessed his true identity and apologized to Alita. He admitted that he had stopped his criminal activities because he loved Alita. Dr. Charon, who was present, suddenly felt pity for Alita and decided to help. Dr. Charon then used her skills to detach Hugo's head without killing him. When Alita emerged, Zapan quickly realized it and attempted to seize Hugo. However, Alita swiftly retrieved her sword and cut part of Zapan's face. Long story short, Dr. Ito assisted Alita in connecting Hugo's head to the cyborg body. There's no brain damage. During this, Dr. Ito explained that Vector had deceived Hugo. He assured him that no one could go to Zalem except by becoming the motorball champion. Hearing Dr. Ito's explanation understandably enraged Alita, and she immediately went to confront Vector. She arrived at the Toot factory and promptly destroyed everything there. As she was about to attack Vector, Grushka suddenly arrived and stabbed Alita. Surprisingly, Alita's wounds instantly healed. Briefly, Alita remembered her battle with the warriors against Nova. The leader of the warriors urged Alita to capture Vector, so she wouldn't give in to defeating Nova and destroying the city of Zalem. That's when Alita realized her true purpose. She immediately fought against Grushka and successfully killed him. Afterward, Alita forced Nova to speak through Vector's body. Nova admitted to being impressed by Alita's abilities. Alita then killed Vector and told Nova that he had underestimated her. Dr. Ito called Alita and informed her that Hugo was climbing the tube towards Zalem. Alita decided to follow him and beg Hugo not to do it. Nova, monitoring them from a distance, launched a weapon that ultimately destroyed Hugo's body, causing him to fall and meet his demise. Some time passed and Alita eventually became a professional motorball player. Thanks to her abilities, Alita made it to the final match that would potentially take her to Zalem, and the film finally ends. Hit the like button if you liked it, subscribe if you loved it, and feel free to share this content with your friends and family as well. And don't forget to ring the notification bell to stay updated with our future videos. And that's about it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next videos.